Abduction and confinement is a crime of confinement under Article 220 of the Penal Code, which is a crime punishable by imprisonment for more than 3 months, and less than 5 years, and even parents cannot be exempted. What is more controversial is that these acts of abduction and confinement are being systematically supported, or even taken on by some Christian pastors. The appearance of religious wars. The Unification Church, whose official name is the World Christian Unification Spiritual Association, was certified as a religious corporation in 1964, and is a new Christian religion born in South Korea whose founder is Sun Myung Moon. Instead, it would be easier to describe it as the religious group that became famous for its spiritual marketing campaigns and mass weddings attended by former rhythmic gymnast Hiroko Yamazaki and singer Junko Sakurada. By the way, in the past I have written articles critical of various cult pseudo-religious groups with antisocial characteristics, such as Yamagishi Kai and Haugasen Hajayo. For this reason, he is viewed by the cult camp as an anti-cult writer. He was once criticized in the Unification Church's official newspaper for featuring a photo of his face on 2 pages, and he has been sued in court by 4 organizations. Some of you may be wondering why I am writing an article like this now. Therefore, before continuing with the Sacco story, I would like to touch on my views on the Unification Church and the circumstances that led me to write this article. I am not affiliated with either the cult or anti-cult side, or the Unification Church or anti-Unification Church, and I do not support any people or organizations that have problems that deserve social criticism. I've been thinking that I should write an article about it. If asked my position, I would have no choice but to say, by all means, by all means. The problems faced by the Unification Church have been made clear in past media reports and numerous lawsuits and judgments. The thing that should be criticized the most is the expensive donations made by believers. According to the organization, the Unification Church exists in 186 countries and regions around the world, but the amount of donations, including the sale of goods, collected by the organization in Japan, which is doctrinally known as the nation of Eve equals a sinful country, is surprisingly expensive compared to other countries. According to the National Liaison Group of Lawyers Against Spiritual Business Law, which opposes the Unification Church, the total amount of damage from 1987 to 2001 received by the organization is 87 billion yen. I have received 4 inquiries so far, 3 of which exceed 10 million yen. If we look at it objectively, we have to say that the Unification Church is stealing the property of its members. Furthermore, he cannot escape criticism for his evangelism activities that conceal his true identity. They are still recruiting under the guise of being Unification Church members. When recruiting, we first invite them to a video center through questionnaires and palm reading tests, where we conduct video training sessions. After that, they will be invited to a 2-day training camp, and then a 4-day training camp. In most cases, they reveal their true identity at the end of the 4-day training camp. Nobuo Okamura, head of the General Affairs Bureau of the Unification Church of Japan, talks about these issues. Donations are made voluntarily, and the denomination instructs people to reveal the name of the Unification Church and evangelize. However, faxes requesting donations are still frequently sent to members, and it can be said that no one has ever been solicited to become a member after disclosing the name of the cult. It lacks persuasive power. However, based on these problems, it is wrong to simply argue that the Unification Church is a criminal group, and think that because they are criminals, they can do whatever they want. I don't want to defend them. However, in the past, there has been no evidence that the Unification Church or its members have been punished as criminal defendants for crimes such as murder or assault. They have received numerous illegal verdicts in civil trials, and in that sense they can be called an anti-social group. But the label criminal group lacks calmness. On the other hand, if you put yourself in the shoes of a parent whose cute child has joined an organization that exploits believers, you might think, I have to do whatever it takes to get him to leave. The organization is understandable. However, this does not mean that it is acceptable to forcibly abduct children, who are adults, some of whom are already married and have started families, and to forcibly persuade them to do so. Abduction and confinement is a crime of confinement under Article 220 of the Penal Code, which is a crime punishable by imprisonment for more than 3 months and less than 5 years, and even parents cannot be exempted. What is more controversial is that these acts of abduction and confinement are being systematically supported or even taken on by some Christian pastors. These pastors instruct the parents of children who have joined the Unification Church to protect them, abduct and imprison them, and then persuade the children behind closed doors to get them to leave the church, or convert them to Orthodox Christianity after leaving the group. In other words, persuading people to leave the group through abduction and confinement has the flavor of a religious war between the Orthodox and the heretical.